Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James Ngo, and these are your 3 o'clock headlines. A shooting inside a Surrey high-rise apartment has resulted in the detention of several people. Surrey police say the shooting was reported at around 12:30 a.m. on Monday, inside the building in the 9600 block of 136 A Street in the Metro Vancouver City. A statement says officers located the suite where the shots originated and detained a number of people inside, although all have been since released pending further investigation. Police say the shots were likely fired both inside the apartment suite and outside on the balcony, and no one was injured. No motive for the shooting has been determined. Surrey's major crime investigators have taken over the case, and police are urging those with information on the shooting to come forward. Port Moody's police say they are on the lookout after a pair of thieves gained access to a residential building and made off with an assortment of mail-in packages. Police say the pair, a man and a woman, gained access to the Inlet Center building in the early hours of January 9th through an intercom. The pair then fled with the stolen items, with police unable to identify the pair and now requiring public assistance. Surveillance video images of the suspects have been made public, and police are asking for anyone with information to come forward. Today is Blue Monday, or the saddest day of the year. But is that really true? Reporter Emma Bolsner has more on the truth behind those January blues.
For over 20 years, the third Monday in January has been referred to as Blue Monday. For many, it's a time when New Year's resolutions are abandoned, credit card debt increases, and seasonal depression is in full swing. SFU Associate Professor Theodore Costco debunks the Blue Monday myth and how it profits off of consumers.
Blue Monday is not a thing. It was something that was cooked up by a travel agency, but seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. You see increasing levels of depressive symptoms in the winter months, but the notion that one specific day is the most depressing day is not a evidence-backed thing.
Costco also says setting realistic goals can help keep those January blues at bay. Emma Bolsner, BCIT News.
Our reporter Emma Bolsner is in studio to tell us more about it. So, Emma, tell me more about Blue Monday.
Well, as you probably heard from my voicer, James, it has every year the third Monday in January, and there's no scientific proof behind it, but companies like to use the phrase Blue Monday to get consumer attention.
So, why is it deemed the saddest day of the year?
Well, we're just coming off of the holidays, the Christmas season. People tend to be more blue in January. It's also mid-January, which means a lot of people tend to throw away their New Year's resolutions and don't feel like doing them anymore. And then, of course, we have our favorite seasonal depression, which many people in Canada have.
Thank you, Emma.
Of course.
Regina police say they are investigating after a body was found over the weekend. Police say officers found a body of a man Saturday in the Prince of Wales area of the city. Regina police say the investigation is being done with the Saskatchewan Coroner Service. Anyone who has information is asked to contact police. New Brunswick RCMP shot and killed a man on a First Nation in the northwestern part of the province yesterday evening. Nugwetcook First Nation Chief Ross Purley says before the shooting, the RCMP did not request assistance from the First Nations Council, outreach team, or tribal security members. In the past, he says such requests have typically helped de-escalate these situations.
With our local attachment, we had a protocol where these types of situations or these types of calls, when they were responding, they would stop or contact our security to attend with them. So things like this didn't happen. That wasn't done yesterday, and here we are.
Purley identified the deceased as Bronson Paul and says a sacred fire has been lit at a community hall in the First Nation as members try piecing together what happened. China's birth rate has fallen to a record low not seen since the Communist Revolution. The country's birth rate in 2025 stood at 5.63 per 1,000 people, the lowest since the 1949 communist takeover. China's overall population has gone down for a fourth straight year. It was once the most populous country in the world, but was surpassed by India in 2023. The U.S. is celebrating the 40th anniversary of Martin Luther King Day today, honoring the legacy of the civil rights leader. Urgent calls to unite against injustice were interspersed with energetic gospel at the Atlanta church where King preached. Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock invoked a story about King fighting for the Voting Rights Act after Congress passed the Civil Rights Act. U.S. President Donald Trump has previously said he felt the civil rights movement and its reforms were harmful to white people. King's granddaughter, Yolanda Renee King, says that the current state of the world is waking people up.
A part of his legacy and a part of our responsibility is to continue carrying on what he left behind. And I believe that currently the state of our world and seeing certain things being under attack will awaken certain people.
Prince Harry has returned to court as part of a high-profile case against the publisher of the Daily Mail. He and others, including Elton John and Elizabeth Hurley, accuse associate newspapers of invading their privacy through unlawful tactics. The publisher denies these claims, and the trial in London's High Court is expected to last 9 weeks. This is part of Harry's ongoing battle against the press, which he blames for his mother's death and attacks on his wife Meghan. Comedian David Letterman is coming to Just for Laughs Vancouver. Letterman will attend Queen Elizabeth Theatre as part of the upcoming comedy festival. He was the host of Late Night for over a decade before hosting The Late Show from 1993 all the way until 2015. This will be the first time the now 78-year-old will take a Canadian stage since 1978. Environment Canada is warning of near-zero visibility for parts of Metro Vancouver and Vancouver Island as thick fog envelops the region. The weather agency says the fog is caused by a ridge of high pressure trapping moisture near the surface of the affected areas. The conditions that also affected parts of the lower mainland over the weekend are expected to last into Tuesday afternoon. The fog warning covers most of Metro Vancouver, including Vancouver, Burnaby, Richmond, Surrey, and the Vancouver International Airport. In other weather stuff, we have reached our expected high of 8 degrees, with temperatures slowly dropping as the day progresses. Clear skies for now, but the fog will settle in later this evening and continue into tomorrow. That's all for now, but please stick around because we still have some sports to cover. The Vancouver Canucks have announced that the team has traded forward Kiefer Sherwood to the San Jose Sharks. In exchange, Vancouver receives defenseman Cole Clayton and 2 second-round picks from San Jose. Canucks general manager Patrick Allvin says that this move will help the Canucks for a future rebuild.
We were, again, looking to accumulate more draft capital here for this year and also moving forward. It's important with the rebuilding going a little bit younger.
Sherwood was signed by the Canucks in 2024, playing 122 games for the team. He led the NHL in hits in his first season as a Canuck, and led the team in goals this season with 17. The Canucks play the Islanders tonight at 7, trying to avoid a franchise record 11th straight loss. Florida Panthers forward Matthew Tkachuk will be making his season debut tonight against the San Jose Sharks. Tkachuk was a major part of the Panthers' back-to-back Stanley Cup wins. He underwent surgery to repair a torn adductor muscle in August. The Panthers currently sit 4 points out of a playoff spot, and the return of one of their best players should give them a much-needed boost. The British Columbia Hockey Hall of Fame has announced its inductees for 2026. The list of names includes Stanley Cup champion Andrew Ladd, as well as the likes of Josh Georges, Travis Green, and Darryl Ray. All 4 were players in the NHL at some point in their careers, with Green becoming an NHL coach and Ray turning into broadcasting. The Seattle Seahawks have announced that running back Zach Charbonnet will be out for the rest of the postseason with a torn ACL. Charbonnet was injured in the Seahawks' blowout win over the San Francisco 49ers to move on to the NFC Championship game. Kenneth Walker III, who was splitting time with Charbonnet this season, had 3 touchdowns in his place. The Seahawks will host the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday, with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. On the other side of the bracket, the New England Patriots have begun preparation ahead of their AFC Championship game against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos finished ahead of the Patriots in the standings via tiebreaker, meaning they will be the ones with home field advantage. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel says that his team must prepare for the hostile environment.
Just try to keep it all in perspective. I want them to enjoy everything about this, but we have to also embrace the preparation and everything that's required to get us to this point, and then, being able to perform and being able to go on the road in a hostile environment. So as far as messaging, I have some time till Wednesday to kind of land the plane on that, but I'm sure it'll be pretty consistent with what we've done up until then.
This will be New England's first AFC Championship game since 2019. A number of CFL signings have taken place earlier today. The Toronto Argonauts brought back defensive lineman Dwayne Hendricks from BC, a man who helped Toronto win the Grey Cup in 2022. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers re-signed kicker Sergio Castillo to a 2-year extension. The defending champion Saskatchewan Roughriders have re-signed receiver Kian Schaefer-Baker to a 2-year extension. Lastly, the Montreal Alouettes have signed receiver Tariq Owens, the son of NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Owens. Canada's men's soccer team has dropped 2 places in the latest FIFA Power Rankings. Canada dropped from 27 to 29, getting passed by Nigeria and Algeria due to their performances at the recent AFCON Cup. Canada's only action since the previous rankings was a 1-0 win against Guatemala, which did not count in the rankings. The College Football National Championship gets underway today. Number 1 ranked Indiana will face number 10 ranked Miami in what will be a glorified home game for Miami. Indiana quarterback and projected number 1 pick Fernando Mendoza looks to add one more piece of hardware to his cabinet. Kickoff is at 4:30 tonight. That's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, I'm James Ngo, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
When I tell people that I study journalism, they immediately say, oh, you want to be a reporter. But I think, in my case personally, I really want to go into magazines, PR, social media, and I think here at school we learn a lot of skills that allow you to go into that world, because you learn how to write for social media, social content, for websites.